What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I will be talking on, I guess, the day I decide to do stand-up comedy. Will I ever be a stand-up comedian? It is actually something that I would love to do at least once. Or if it does become a full-on career, regardless, I would love to do that. Probably I do see that being a channel. Sometimes I should just create the channel now, and then when things get back to normal, just start looking up some clubs in Seattle. Cause I honestly think that I could do it. Like my thing is that I just want to get up on stage and then get the freezing. Like you don't really know how that setup is until you actually do it. And then that's another thing when I know when I see like other comedians and when they get up on stage, and it'd be like veteran comedians, like comedians you ain't seen them in like some like cult classic movies, and you ain't seen a bunch of stand-up comedy stuff, but they will get the sweats. Oh my god, if anybody is going to sweat bad on a stage in front of people, bro, the last time I had to say that I had like the spotlight on me, it was in middle school. And I read this old like corny freaking poem about Martin Luther King. I don't even know what I did with that poem, but I'm like I don't ever want to go through that experience again where I'm having to go off of a script or something. That's the thing though. I'm not an on script person. I gotta like say like what I'm doing right now. I gotta say like what's on my heart, what is in my brain right now. Cause I'm not a script person. So I probably would write down some things to talk on, but other than that, I'm like, hey yo, I don't want to go off no script. I don't think even most comedians do go off of a script. Well, it's like like I said, they might write some stuff down to talk about, but other than that, they just go based off of what they can think on right there on the spot. But no, then there's like another thing that like lingers in my brain. There is this comedian. I remember Wildin' Out. They kind of had like this like touring show that they would do. And yeah, they show where they was like doing all these like different, going to all these different places. Like they were doing like a Wild and Out like tour, pretty much. I think what I just said. But anyways, there's this one comedian that used to appear on the show named Matt. And I remember there was a time where he got up on stage, and that man, like, he didn't freeze, but he was like trying to think of stuff to talk on. And I'm like, oh my god, like that's an actual thing. Like I seen that. Like that actually happens, and that's something where I'm like, man, it put fear in my eyes, because I'm like, bro, I would not want to get up on stage and then not have nothing to talk about. So that's why it's like with this episode, I'm gonna kind of try to treat this like a practice episode. Like, what would I overall do if I was up on stage and stuff? Because I feel like when I'm saying right now, this would be some stuff that I would say on stage, but I definitely would tell some stories. Like, oh, I got a gang of stories that I can tell people. Like, man, I'm telling you, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, what kind of stories do you guys want to hear? Y'all want to hear the kid-friendly stories? Or y'all want to hear, like, the rated X, everybody needs to cover their ears at some parts, in case your stomach is too wheezy. Like, I got some stories, bro, but other than that, I'm like, I honestly think I could turn it into something. I don't know if I would be a great, like, Kevin Hart, but I definitely do think I would have, like, some memorable moments on stage. Like, I do feel like, because, no, that was one thing I'd never forget. And that's actually, now that's like, fast forward to high school. I'll never forget when we had to do like this like improvised like tag thing. It was like an improvised like tag exercise. I think that was either the name or that was the description of what we was doing. But anyways, no, I remember I just had my classroom cracking up. And then even like when doing live streams, and like of course like when you're playing a video game and when you're just you're live at the moment, like it's not like a video where it's like, oh, okay, you can think. And even when I do a video, like I don't like write down some things to talk on. Like I might have the idea to talk or to like do a video, but all of my videos, I'm trying to think, what was the last time I wrote down? I can't remember the last time. It was definitely some time ago. But I don't like writing down things for videos because it just doesn't feel authentic to me and stuff. So, but anyways, no, back when I was in high school, I remember I did this that improvised tag thing. Classroom cracking up laughing. I'm telling you, guys might heard some Xbox noises going off in the background. Sure, I forgot to turn my TV down. But anyways, yeah, I did that. And it was like, I didn't know all those kids in that classroom, and they didn't know who I was. So the fact that I was able to pull that off, and I was just being myself, like, that's the crazy thing about it. I was just being myself, and to be myself and to have people laughing at some stuff. Oh man, like, y'all don't even know how, like, what that did to me and things. That made me feel so proud of, like, who I was and stuff. So, and even just recently in my live streams, and shout out to my best friend Gigi. But anyways, like, when she very, like, the first time she came to my stream, to have it where she was constantly posting laughing emojis saying how I'm having her cracking up and how she's dying. Like, she ain't actually dying, but, like, you know, like, for those, I wonder if people like, till this, like, you know, if they understand that terminology today. Like, oh, I'm dead, bro, I'm dying. Like, I feel like there would be that one person that still hasn't caught on to it, and it's like, no, it's just another form of laughing. Like, you know, we gotta change up things from now. Like, you know, that's just life. Like, I don't know why we gotta change up stuff. Like, I'm cracking up right now. I'm kind of old fashioned. I be saying things I was saying when I was like 8 years old and stuff. So I wasn't saying, oh, I'm dead or I'm dying. Like, I might have been saying, oh, I'm dying. Like, my stomach hurts, some stuff like that. But anyways, no. But when she first time she joined my stream, and she was, yeah, just cracking up nonstop throughout the stream. And then even to, like, today when she, or yesterday when she joined my stream, she was even cracking up. And so yeah, I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, to have that effect, to be able to have, like, your friends, your family, you know, they ask me, like, because I'm thinking, I just think back, I think that's another thing that I would do, is just to think on, like, back on questions my family would ask me, like, oh, what would I do in a situation like that, turn that into a comedy skit and stuff, or like into a, like, stand-up comedy thing, and either talk on that the whole time or just talk on a bunch of different stuff. I think regardless, like, I have, like, my things down in the bag, like, you know, like, so let's say for an example, if they have it where I'm, like, up there for 10 minutes, right, and I'm supposed to be talking, like, oh, well, what would I do in a situation where I'm, like, in one of them scary movies or something? I'm like, all right, bet, name the scary movie, or do you want me to name the scary movies? All right, cool. First movie that just came to my mind right now is House of Wax. So first things first, movie wouldn't have been no 2 hours long. That movie would have been like 5 minutes. In the, like, first, like, few minutes of the movie, did they had it where the girl, she fell down something and they had all these dead animals and a hand was sticking out. I'm supposed to be seeing that? No, that wasn't meant for me. That's a sign. My thing is like, that is a sign. All right. Now, if I didn't seen all of this and I still decide to go, like, oh, I'm gonna stay out and camp in some woods and stuff. Like, my thing is what was the whole reason for them? I guess it's been a while for me, like, you know, that I've seen that movie. But what was the whole reason of them staying out in the woods? There wasn't no hotel. See, that's why I'm like, horror movies are unrealistic, bro, because they be out there doing stuff that's like, when have you heard okay, if we're gonna be in the universe of this movie, has there ever been, like, to ask any of those people questions in that movie, has there ever been a time, all right, when you guys was, because I think they were going to some popular football game that was getting ready to happen. I think that was, like, the whole reason why they were traveling and stuff. But you guys decide that y'all gonna camp out in the middle of nowhere. Y'all don't know of this area and stuff. So what makes you think that that area is trusting? Like, you can trust that area. You can look at that area, look at the trees and the woods and forests and crap and be like, you know what? This is nice right here. I like this. No. You only say that when you're out in some woods that you are familiar with. Some woods that your father or your grandfather then took you out there and y'all done had, like, a father and grandfather, grandson, son, whatever conversation you want to call it. But that's the only time when you decide to go out into some woods. But other than that, you just out in some woods for no reason. That's why they all ended up getting killed. I'm like, I don't feel sorry for Paris Hilton. I don't feel sorry for that one black guy. He be appearing in I feel like he's like one of them, like, Tyler Perry actors. You just be seeing him in Tyler Perry movies and stuff. But regardless of whatever, well, he was in the Tyler Perry TV show. But I don't feel sorry for him because he's all like, oh, I want to be the hero. But I'm like, bro, you're the black man of this group, okay? So you're supposed to be the one to guide these guys because they're not going to listen. They're going to hear some stuff and be like, what's that? Who's out there? What's going on? You better leave us alone. Like, nah. While they doing that, I'm in the corner packing my bags and stuff saying, all right, so I guess I'll see y'all this weekend. Or if y'all decide to come back or leave these woods, I don't know, but I see you guys when I see you. But I'm not going to be in no situation like that. Do you understand that I will walk out of those woods by myself on the side of the road if I die, I'm dropping. My thing is like before I even die, like whoever it is chasing me, it's like you're gonna have to either have a car of some. Y'all gonna have to have something to be maneuvering around trees and everything else. Cause I'm like guaranteed I am running from. I feel like when I have like fear and adrenaline like pumping through my veins, I don't get tired. Like that's the thing. I'm like, cause I'm already scared, and then I'm like, okay, whatever is chasing me, I have to outrun it or something. So I'm like, I gotta be tactical when I'm out. I don't know why, but for some reason, I'm like, I kind of get into like my Navy SEALs, like type thing, or I'm like, I'm just out there just trying to be tactical. I'm trying to maneuver around stuff. I'm trying to survive at the end of the day. But anyways, but just like that, that would be some stuff that I would say up on the stage, right? Y'all like how I just like can just transition to like, like this is what I would do, and then but it's like it wasn't 10 minutes though, so obviously I would have to add a little bit more to it. But I was like, I just wanted to give you guys a little preview of what I would say if I was up on stage and stuff. But full on access, like what? Do y'all want full on access in this episode? Because let me think of another movie, Night of the Living Dead. Okay, if we're gonna talk on Night of the Living Dead, one of the best, but one of the dumbest like zombie movies of all time. Not even for the fact like the premise of the movie or just overall the writing or everything, but the people in the movie. You guys, okay? Let's sit down and talk about this. Let's sit down and talk about this universe. Let's talk about this setup. You guys are in a zombie apocalypse where the zombies, they're not even walking. They're literally just taking a step. These zombies are taking steps to trying to kill you guys. They're not, because my thing is walking is like you go to a downtown area, you just find a random person, that's walking, right? Like you just look at your surroundings, you see a person walking, now that's walking. Them zombies wasn't doing that in Night of the Living Dead. So my question is to everybody that died in that movie, how and why? Because I just don't the zombies was taking steps, bruh. Like, and then no, because I never really sat down and watched the 60s version. I watched the 90s version of Night of the Living Dead. I don't know why. I kind of got like a problem with like black and white like movies and TV shows. Like some be making it through the cuts, but then there's others where I'm like, if I know that they got a colored version, I'm gonna most likely watch the colored version. That was the whole, my thing is like, when you go and watch like old TV shows back in the day, what was the biggest thing that came out? Colored TVs. So why would I decide to be like, unless I'm really curious on what that movie was about, that would be the only reason why I would watch a black and white movie. But other than that, we got colored TVs. If they wanted us to continue watching black and white stuff, they would have continued on making black and white TVs. So therefore, I'm not watching no movie. There is a colored version of it. I need to see colors. I hate watching stuff and being, because you know why I don't like where it's like things is black and white? For those that have never seen it, you sit down and watch Andy Griffin in color. Changes your whole world. Oh my God. You don't even realize that Andy Griffin himself had gray hair. His suits wasn't even really like a tan, grayish color. Them suits was, everything was just so weird. It was so weird seeing that stuff in color. And so I'm like, you know what? I would rather know like what it looks like in color rather than seeing things in black and white, because it changes you. It really messes your brain up. Like when I seen Andy Griffin in color, that I Love Lucy, what are some other shows? I'm waiting for them to do a Leave It to Beaver in color. I don't think they've done that one yet, but regardless, I'm like, hey yo, y'all don't realize how that messes with a person's brain. Like, you haven't been watching these shows for so long in black and white. Now they're in color. Nah, man. I'm like, I could, even when they was, but I mean, they did have like colored episodes of the Andy, but it was like, there's like some black and white episodes that they made into color. So I'm like, how? What kind of technology you guys have? Like, it wasn't meant for y'all to do that. Like, so don't, like, you either redo it or, you just leave it be and stuff. But it messed my brain up. I was like, I can't. I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, is this black and white? Like, is what is black and white and what is colored? Like, my brain is, I didn't like that. That confused me. I'm confused right now thinking about it. But anyways, regardless. But no, getting back to these people ain't off the hook yet with Night of the Living Dead. Just to let people know, I do get a little bit off topic. I might get, what's the words I'm trying to see? This is what happens when you don't pay attention in school, because you try to find the words to like say and stuff, and you can't really, like I carried away. There we go. I'm like, I feel like there's another one, but I'm gonna go with carry away. That's my final answer. But anyways, all right. back to these people on Night of the Living Dead. No, y'all ain't off the hook, because instead of either you could have just walked around the zombies, you could have jogged around the zombies, you could have ran around the zombies. You guys could have done everything possible, but instead they panicked, boarded up all of the windows. My thing was is that all you did was slow the zombies down. That's it. But eventually, when you hear banging and stuff, like, cause that's how zombies, like, that's how they get attracted. They be hearing noises and crap. So you got all these zombies, okay, banging across the windows, banging across. Y'all didn't think about that, did you? See, that's why I'm like, I'm like, you guys can stay in this house and die, but I'm not. I'm like, if anything's, no, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go all the way up on top of the house and be like, hey, I'm gonna find like a flat part on the roof, get me a sleeping bag, and just lay up on there. And I'm all like, I probably wouldn't be able to, knowing my luck, I mess around and fall asleep because I'm a little bit of a wild sleeper. Next thing you know, I took off rolling off that roof, woke up at the last second, right before I can even grab on, slam, broke my back. Next thing you know, I'm getting eaten up by zombies. So that's a bad idea. It was just, overall, I wouldn't have been on. So that just shows it's like you can't stay in no house. That's why you see like any zombie movie or zombie TV show today, you don't never see them guys in the house. So that's why I'm like, who was the bright one that came up with that idea? Because I looked them in their face and straight just deck them for no, like, well, no, there is a reason. But no, then with the colored version, and I don't know if that happened in the black and white version, but I'm like, what was you thinking when you decided, okay, so y'all are trying to find the keys to this gas pump, right? That was a part of the movie. So they had a truck, but the truck didn't have enough gas, so they had to go to this gas pump that was like down the street from their house. But when they went to that gas pump, there was a lock on it. They ended up getting the wrong key. So this man, that's why I'm like, that's why y'all was dying, because you guys wasn't thinking too straight. You know, y'all was straight up panicking throughout that movie. And I'm like, in a situation like that, you cannot panic. Knowing I would panic, and I'm telling myself I wouldn't panic. No, I know I would panic. I know I would. I would not be thinking straight. Probably have been like, you know, trying to fit in with like the looters and stuff. I'm like, I don't rob or steal from people, so I'm like, can't fit in with the looters and things. People are trying to, like, they're looking at me thinking I'm Rick Grimes. I'm more so like, who would I be on Walking Dead? Whoever was the one person on that show that didn't, like, they've had like a very minimum part. That's me. That's who I am. I'm one of the background people. I'm just one of the people that be yelling, screaming, and running around and stuff. I'm no Rick Grimes. I'm not no Glenn. I'm none of. I'm one of the people. That's why I do reaction videos, because I'm the reacting person. I'm like, oh my God, zombies. I'm like, oh, look at that. Like, I do that. But I'm like, I'm not the one where y'all look at me and be like, so Tyler, what we gonna do? I'm like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? You all looking at me, I'm like, no, we all splitting up. Every man or woman or whoever you would want to be preferred to for themselves. But I'm running this way. If y'all follow me and y'all try to take anything from me, we fighting. If we see zombies, we gonna fight. You know what? I'm leaving them zombies up to you. I ain't got no business fighting those zombies. I ain't got no business doing that at all. But anyways, once again, carried away. But the guy decided that how he was going to unlock, okay, the gas pump, because there was a lock on it. His bright idea was, if I take a shotgun and shoot at the gas thingy thing that pumps the gas into the cars, the gas thingy things. That was smart, right? That's a good idea. I know some people are thinking, well, what was wrong with that? Shotgun, fire, bullet, gasoline. That's not a good match. That's not a good match. That's not good when you're dealing with gas. So he decided something that somewhat shoots out fire, but it was just an extremely like hot bullet, but eventually that will boil up some gas. It will lead into fire. And then the spark from when it hit it was just dumb to shoot a gas tank thingy. And I'm like, and then hit, like, him and his girlfriend blew up. there, and the one black guy in it, that black guy, I was all like, bro, he was too emotional in that movie. I'm like, that's one thing for sure. You can't be emotional in the, because I probably would get the laughing at you. There's at some scenes where I was laughing at him, and I'm like, look, don't get around me, be black and emotional. You can't be black and emotional in the zombie apocalypse. So I'm sorry, but at the same time, I'm not sorry. Like, if you fall down on the ground and you start screaming like at literally at nothing, I'm gonna laugh at you, because I'm like, hey, yo, this zombie apocalypse, this only been day one and it already done got to them that bad. Like, dang, I need to see them on day 180, because that's gonna be the day where they snapped and went crazy and things. But then that's another thing. Like, speaking on like zombie shows and stuff, is Walking Dead. Now they have it where it's like, no, there's just people out there just full on crazy. Where it's like women out there shaving their heads, they attacking their own children. The children is out running around like luring zombies and getting people killed. I'm telling you, man, I'm like, we don't need, like, it looks cool and stuff. It's fun when you play the video games, and it's dope when you watch the movies. But I ain't trying to be a part of no zombie apocalypse, not at all. I'm like, y'all can keep that stuff over there. I'm like, I just want to, because I'm like, honestly, I don't know what I keep saying, like, I'll hide in the woods or hide in a big building, but you see that in the shows. And they let you know, like, hey, yo, this is what happened when you're in a big building. This is what would happen if you was out in the woods. You can't go nowhere, fam. You can't. So the only thing I can, like, that's why I'm like, I need to start exercising. I need to start training like a track star or something. And yeah, just I'm like, so I'm just running. I just run everywhere I go. Just get me, just go and just get me a big backpack and just get like one of those like big like container things of water. Get a straw and just be running just everywhere I go and stuff, and just be drinking on that and things. My bladder is about to be fooling around with that. But regardless, okay, I'm trying to survive. But anyways, but yeah, overall, up on stage, that was probably about 10 minutes, right? That was like roughly around that time. So I say some stuff like that, walk off, see how the crowd was like laughing and stuff. If the crowd wouldn't laugh, I looked at them and been like, wow. So what kind of what sense of humor do you guys got, like, about politics? Freaking the stock market. Like, dang, I'm sorry for being one of them simple-minded people that just, I find actual funny things to talk about. Yeah, next time I'll, freaking go to college and come out and be a stand-up comedian. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I think if I ever were to deal with, like, people that just, they're not laughing, I'm like, okay, so that comedy club crossed out. And if I go to a few more comedy clubs and it's all like that, then I'm like, okay, comedian job crossed out, can't be a comedian and stuff. Then the day, if I ever get a heckler, if there's ever a time where I'm like, if I'm like talking to the crowd, right, and I'm just all like, okay, how long y'all been together, asking somebody some random question, and then there's that person in the background like, boo, I don't like you. I'm like, dang, can I at least finish like my show or something? Then we can talk about this app. Because you don't seem like that face-to-face type person. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'll be that comedian where I'm like, I'm off up in your face. I'm like, wait a minute, what was that? I'll be a Gordon Ramsay of comedians, bro. Honestly, I'll get there. Because I'm like, that's what you have to do. You just got to roast a heckler. I'm all like, yeah, you got some extremely long kneecaps. I'm like, dang, it must take you a while to just bend over, sit down or do something and things. I'm like, that's why you standing up heckling and things. You got them long kneecaps, can't sit down too fast. I'm like, get up the bones popping and stuff. Like, man, you're gonna have some bad arthritis when you grow. I would get the roasting every inch of that person's body, from freaking all the way to that, like, not the big toe, but that second toe on their foot that's just long for no reason, longer than all the toes. Okay, even the big toe, I just don't understand the history of that toe and stuff, because some people just got a regular sized toe, then there's others that got that long one that be looking like, in like Jeepers Creepers 2, when his feet was dangling over that thing before he attacked that kid. By the way, that was so wrong. I'm like, he didn't need to attack that kid. That kid was just scared. But anyways, they be having some toes like that. And I'm like, but it just be that second one, that second toe next to the big toe. Like, bruh, like, why that? I will roast that toe. I will roast their ankles, saying, you got, like, your ankles don't look right. I'm like, you got one big one and one small one, because I know I got something like that. No, I legit got something like that going on. It's like the back part of my ankle where it's like one is big and then the other one is like slimmed and things. It's so weird how that, I need to take a picture of that one day and show people. But yeah, it's so weird how they look. Like, You can't really. No, I can. Dang, I could kind of tell a little bit. What is wrong? I got, because it just. I don't know, man. I'm like, somebody messed up my ankles when I was a kid. But anyway, I used to twist my ankles a lot. That might have been. It might have been this ankle, and it just automatically, it just stayed swollen for no reason. I'm like, it don't hurt or anything. But I'm like, that's just weird. But anyways, but no, I would roast their ankles. I would roast their shins, the kneecaps, their thighs, their pelvis, their stomach. If they're a man, I would roast their breast. If they're a woman, I would roast their flat chest. I would roast their arms, shoulders, elbows, their wrist, their pinky fingers, their necks, if they have a neck, because sometimes with people, they be like, necks are not included. Their heads, eyebrows, nose. I'm telling you, I will roast you. So I'm just saying, like, listen to this podcast first, okay? And then if you still decide to go to my shows and be a heckler, I promise you, I will have you leave that place crying. Okay, I grew up in a household where we roasted each other. I roasted people for literal like breakfast and was full off of it. Okay, and I'm one of those people where I'm like, I can eat a lot, so I'm like, I can roast a lot. All right, but anyways, but no, one day I am gonna live out that stand up comedian dream. Get up on stage, tell some stories and stuff about myself. What other things? Probably talk about some movies. Just talk about a bunch of different things. Kind of like how I say, how I treat like just overall like how I got everything's now, like just treat it like a lunchroom table and stuff, and just overall that I might call that honestly though. I might call that like my stand up, like my comedy show and stuff. Like where you like in case if it ends up being like a big deal, just call it the lunchroom table and just be like, you know what? Nah, like I'm getting the fans involved to where they're saying things, and it's just gonna be one. It's just gonna be one big. It's like one big lunchroom table and stuff. But anyways, should it? No, I feel well. It should. I feel like it should be like a big, like a huge table. But no, that's too much. That's too much. No, we just gonna have a like a big just. You know what I'll do? Dang, I can't even do that. Dang, I'm out here trying to think of like how the comedy show would be set up, and I'm just like out here crushing my own dreams and stuff. But anyways, now I will talk more on that. I would one of these days. I should do that. Just kind of do like a tour and see like if a comedy show takes off and I end up being like really good at it and stuff. Oh yeah, I definitely do like a tour in Washington State. Just go to a bunch of different comedy clubs and stuff. And yeah, just overall, just do my thing and stuff, and just overall have some fun. But anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. And if you're purchasing make sure you subscribe to one of my 32 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. Like my page on Facebook at TMossBoss fan page. Now for the promos. If you are purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off of your first purchase. And if you're in this, so I recently went on Rogue Energy, bro. They got a crap ton of like flavors from energy drinks to some drinks that will hydrate you. They got a t-shirt. They got a bunch of stuff. Make sure you guys definitely go check out Rogue Energy. And if you are looking to buy any things from them, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. And it will give you, I believe, yes, you will get a discounted price on some of the things there. But yeah, anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.